But we're going to go ahead and playing on this game here. Let's introduce the players here. We got the Polish team here. In the top, we got Elazer as the teal Zerg and his ally Pal as the yellow Protoss, playing against Knight as the blue Zerg and his ally, the Danish Terran Lillekanin, in green. So I'm looking forward to seeing what both these teams are up for. I'm not sure exactly. I think that the two teams are in a party and they discuss the vetoes. There's a certain rules on how the vetoes of the maps work and whatnot. I think each team is allowed to veto a map, and then you have to start with one specific one, and then loser chooses the next maps. But the reason I'm pointing this out is because we're playing again on Isle of Slaughter, and we've seen how effective in this entire tournament run Lillekanin and Knight have been in employing this map to their advantage and using their race combination of Terran Zerg to secure the wins. They just won the last final game against Moron Beast QT because of the strength of the Roach plus Bio. And now they're facing a Protoss Zerg. And the question is, are they going to do something else, or are they going to rely on the same strategy that has worked so well for them up until now? We're also seeing here a probe wandering about. It's probably going to scout, but there's always a potential of having like a little proxy Stargate here or here. We are only seeing one gas here from the Protoss. So it's hard to say what he's going for just yet. Is he going for gateway into expand, or is he going to go core into expand, or core into some kind of tech? The longer he delays this gas, the less probable there's going to be some kind of hidden tech going on. At the same time, we see here that Lillekanin is doing the exact same build that he did last game. He's going to go for that double barracks with reactor Reaper follow-up that has served him so well, also called the Lillekanin build, and he's then going to follow it up with a strong bio push. And hopefully this time around, since he's facing Protoss Zerg, his minimax are going to come a little bit earlier, and their push is going to be that much stronger. So here we go. We're seeing here the probe march up here on top of the ramp, and here he's seeing everything that he needs to see. So he knows that there's going to be Reapers, and the top side here of the Zerg here is getting his expansion, and also mining his gas. So there's no greedy plays going from both sides here, and I'm just hoping to see what the Protoss here is going to react to when he sees the scouting. So he must know right now, okay, Reapers are on its way. Is he going to chrono out his Stalker? Is he going to get Mothership Core a little bit faster? What is he doing here? So far, nothing really. He feels comfortable in his defending. He believes that he can defend this without any diversion from his tech plan, and he's just going to go for this Nexus over here. And I quickly see you guys are talking more about ProTech on chat. I will address it later, guys. And Odin, thank you for bringing that up. We'll talk about it a little bit later. Let's focus on this game. I don't want to create any drama in chat, so let's refrain from doing that for now. We'll talk about it just a little bit later, okay? Right now, one of the big issues here is this probe over at the bottom. This is going to be a proxy pylon. And the proxy pylon is going to allow for some warp-ins here and to stall this expansion. We saw what happens when Lillekanin's expansion is stalled and his medivacs get a little bit delayed. The push is not as strong, and I'm going to assume right now that they're going to go for the exact same thing they did in the last game of the last series. So they're going to just dart around here with these Reapers, doing a little bit of damage here. I'm not even focusing too much here because I'm expecting both teams to be able to ward this off. Both teams are at high enough a level that this is just to poke around. It's not to do any kind of determining damage. If anything, this is forcing the Zerg to get a lot of lings and is stalling any kind of other tech progression. In fact, he's forced to actually Banelings. He's going to opt to go for some Banelings here. I don't know if this is the correct choice. If he had gone for some Roaches, those could have been used later on. The Banelings might not really help him in any real way against the later push from the Bio plus Roach forces here. And we're seeing already the swap here, so Lillekanin is transitioning. He's got his CC down, and he's backing off here. So he got a full scout, delayed pretty much both of the players, forced a bunch of lings here, scanning one more time just to see, okay, you know, what's the stage of your gas, what's the stage of your lair, are you getting Roach Warren, are you getting Evo Chambers, and the lair coming down right now, right after the scan fades. Both teams are trying to hide as much of this information as they can, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to decide here who's going to come out on top here in the early game. I'm going to have to give the lead right now for the bottom team, mainly because the Terrans are comp, and we've seen how strong this is. Here comes the lair and the Roach speed, and in a few seconds he's just going to start cranking out, and we're going to see the supply just start booming here for the blue Zerg. and they're then going to focus down on these rocks. At the same time, though, we see a little bit of a warp in here. Unfortunately, he doesn't really have any kind of tech like DTs or anything. He's just making stalkers right now, and I'm not sure what the purpose of these 3 stalkers out here. These can easily be picked off, and maybe what he's focusing on here is he knows that there's this push going to come soon, and he just wants to stall as much as possible by attacking the flank here and delaying Terran's base. So either way, both teams sort of probing each other out. It looks like the bottom team are sort of tunnel visioning in the strategy that they're going for. This time around, the reactor is not delayed by any sorts of harass, and the stocks are just going to come around here. And this could be like harmful for the Terran, pick off a few SCVs, but it's not going to do too much damage because we have a lot of roaches here. What's really going to be a problem here is this Baneling follow-up. Lings and Banelings here. The combat shield is not quite done yet. The upgrades for the bio army are not quite done yet. The Medivacs are in production here. Not quite done either, actually. The swap hasn't occurred just yet. So everything is a little bit delayed here. And I'm really concerned here, because remember what we talked about in the last game is that the Zerg needs to get some damage in, or he has to get a third. And we're already seeing here the top Zerg getting his third. He's going to play economic catch-up, and it looks like the top team know exactly how to counter this kind of play. Just stall the push with mobility, keep checking to see if the rocks are being broken, and then try to find some angles of pursuit with these Lings here. This is going to be an interesting follow-up here. So they're working on they probably want to break this down so that the Lings have more mobility, the reinforcements here. And also remember what I told you guys about positioning on this map here. The Zerg getting this natural over here allows him to creep spread for this third. Whereas our Zerg didn't opt to do that. He wanted to get this area here just in case he could get the spines and defend the front line. That means it's going to be that much harder to defend this third. So they're really gambling on this pressure damage that they can do with the Roach bio push here. And the stim goes off. There's not enough sentries here to force field them off. He activates the Nexus here, but only 2 medics, but that's just going to be enough here. There's so many units here for the bottom team. And the Banelings coming in here trying to find some contacts, but as I mentioned earlier, Banelings can't really do anything against this Roach wall, so it's going to really be Roach with Roach. And Colossus coming in here, but again, Colossus is not doing a lot of damage against the Roach front line. This composition from the bottom team has shown again and again why it's just so strong here on this map. So, top team is doing excellent job in defending here, but there's only so much they can do against this Terran Zerg aggression. They should have stalled a little bit longer here, or maybe get some Zealot run-bys here with to force some of these reinforcement Roaches to stay at home as their own reinforcements. We also need to see some Immortals or something of the sort like that. The Colossus is just not cutting it against this Roach play. Teal is trying to get his Roaches going, and I think they were hoping to get a timing just a little bit before the bottom team. That Baneling plus Lost Stalkers is a classic Zerg Protoss composition that hits a little bit before Medivacs and whatnot, and the Stim combat shield are complete. So, but it doesn't seem to work out for them, and now the Nexus has fallen, so the top team is forced to pull like probes and just scramble anything they can and just throw at this Terran Zerg team here. So this looks like it's pretty much going to lead the advantage to the bottom team here as they secure their further bases. Now they're safe to expand to their third. I already see here Lillekanin is getting his command center and adding additional infrastructure, so they're just transitioning into the mid-game with just complete map awareness and control, and just stall as much as possible. But that being said, there is Zerg here at the top for the Polish guys. Still has a decent economy, and as long as they can buy a little bit more time here for the Protoss, the supply difference is not that big. It's really the Protoss that needs to get the right unit composition to aid the Roach versus Roach pushes here and counter this bio play. And the problem is that Protoss don't have something that synergizes as well as Medivacs plus bio for the Roaches of their allies. So hopefully, hopefully they can scramble something over here. And here we go. We got some force fields. Force fields are key for this kind of composition. If he could have force fielded in the previous engagement on the ramp, they could have maybe held a little bit better, but right now this angle is just not perfect for them. There's plenty of surface area on the top. The swoop here of these Roaches just swooping in here in the back and picking off the last Colossus, and that's going to be the GG. Protoss has nothing else to muster, and his ally Elazer is forced to GG as well. And that's going to be game 1 of this best of 5 series, going to Knight and Lillekanin.